Welcome back to Elevated Freedoms podcast. Today we're here to talk about accountability. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk about accountability.
Yeah, so the other day that we were talking about doing this episode, and we came up, or you found this crazy statistic about accountability.
I did, man. So, like I said, in the prep for this episode, I was just, surfing the internet and I came across this crazy statistic that just worked with exactly what we wanted to talk about. And it was from the American Society for Training and Development. Basically, what it said is if you have a specific accountability appointment with a person you've committed to, that you're 95% more likely to accomplish whatever that goal is that you told them about, as compared to somebody that just has an idea or goal in their own head that they want to accomplish, completes it 10% of the time, which just goes to everything we want to talk about today, which is the accountability partnership that we're going to form here with Elevated Freedom and the community we want to build. It's going to make you more effective. It's going to make you a more effective person at accomplishing the goals that you set for yourself, that you share with the other people in the community. And I think that's exciting, dude. I was so excited to see that statistic, and I'm just glad that we found it for the episode. So that's something I think people should know about.
Yeah, for sure. 95%. If someone told you that you were going to go out and do something and you have to do this one thing and you'll be 95% more successful, I mean, nobody's going to say no to that.
It's literally the best investment option possible.
Yeah.
Like nobody's ever going to say no to an investment in the stock market or in a business or anything else if you have a 95% chance of return. But this isn't even a business investment. This isn't about money. This isn't about anything else. This is about an investment in yourself, which is more meaningful than any of that, because to get to those other things, you have to improve yourself. So now you're 95% more effective at improving at the things that you know you need to do to get you to that person that you envision yourself as, which is a no-brainer, like we said.
Yeah. The thing that I really like about it too is you have other people like the partnership that me and you have. Like you're my accountability partner, I'm yours. We get through this stuff together, and if that is your friend, like everybody, wants to bring their friends with them. Everybody wants to come up together with somebody, and to watch your friend, accountability partner, brother, sister, whatever it is, grow with you at the same rate. I think that would be more satisfying partly than seeing those wins yourself, because you're winning while also they're winning at the same time.
And that's part of the passion that we had for this project, right? Was that we want to see other people grow, because we witnessed it in our own lives with each other as accountability partners. We went from being in a place where we weren't happy with our lives. We weren't happy with how anything in our lives were going. We weren't happy with how much we weighed. We weren't happy with how our work was going. Just everything as a whole, just it was negative. And we saw this opportunity and we took it, and we reached out to one another and we set goals with each other, and it made us more effective. And it took us from being that person that sets their New Year's resolution and a week later quits it because things get hard or life gets in the way or you make that excuse. But now you have somebody there that you're accountable to, that's expecting you to accomplish those goals because you shared them with them. So it gives you that responsibility and that feeling of having somebody else that's counting on you to fulfill what you said you were going to do. And 95% of the time, you're going to be better about it. So it's the whole thing with what we've wanted to do here. And it puts the passion we have for helping people to a whole nother level, because now we know that it's been tested, it's been studied, and that this is actually an effective way to help other people grow.
Yeah. And here at Elevated Freedom, we just want to help people. I know I do. I know Brandon does. We want to be here to help you reach that next goal and to build this community of like-minded people. Because maybe you're not into running. Maybe you are more into weightlifting. Maybe you're more into swimming or biking or whatever it is. And as the community grows, there's going to be different people. Now, this thing about accountability is it's not just for fitness. It's accountability to you, to your family, to work. It's your whole entire life. Now, here at Elevated Freedom, we do base our success a lot on fitness, because fitness is the gateway drug to success. So the more that you work out and the more that you push yourself and do those hard things, you're going to just keep getting better.
And it's like we talk about, it's getting those wins, right?
Mhm.
It's stacking those wins. And the reason fitness is the gateway drug to success is because if you show up for yourself every day and do a workout or a walk or whatever you want to do that makes you happy, that gets you out there and gets you moving, it's a confidence builder, because every day you showed up for yourself and you did what you said you were going to do. And that's where that gateway drug happens, because now you're building confidence in yourself. You respect yourself enough to show up every day. And now the other things in your life start opening up. And
Right.
that's kind of the whole point, is we want everybody to find what it is that helps them get to that next level, whether that be fitness or whether that be professionally or whatever the goal is. Let's start with something that's attainable, like showing up every day for yourself for 30 minutes, whether that be reading a book or working out or whatever that is that makes you push to that next level. Let's do that, and let's have an accountability partner there to hold us accountable for those actions that we said we're going to take. And I think it's nothing but positive. And at the end of the day, it's going to make you a better person, which is what we're here for.
Right. It's only 95% positive, right? And so,
Yeah, that's pretty good odds, right?
yeah.
I mean, 95%. I'm still hoping that after this episode's over that I can find an investment with a 95% chance of like getting my money doubled or something. Because if that's the case, I'm going to do it immediately.
Well, if you do, help a homie out.
Yeah.
Accountability, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll let you know.
But let's talk about what accountability is. Accountability is for yourself. Like accountability partnership, as we've talked about already here, is important. But accountability to yourself, you don't want to lie to yourself. You want to have the accountability of yourself to say, the night before you're prepping, the night before you say, I am going to get up in the morning and I'm going to read 10 pages, or I'm going to drink water. And so you're going to hold yourself accountable to that. And like Brandon was just talking about, that's going to be a win. And then as you go out throughout the day, you're just going to hit those other wins, because you started off your day with a win. So it's going to be easy to keep that rolling, because you're going to be accountable to yourself. You're going to keep talking to yourself like with your inner voice and say, at noon, I'm going to drop and do 20 push-ups wherever I'm at. Now that's just an example. It could be whatever. It could be job related. It could be life related. You have to make an important phone call. You're going to be accountable to yourself. Now we get into where you have an accountability partnership. So like before, like when me and Brandon started this, I was visiting home and we decided that we were going to go on a run. So we went on a run. It was a beautiful, warm day in the lovely state of Maine. And after that, we made the plan to do the Army 10 miler that was 12, 13 weeks away. And from that point on, we had that same goal. So once we started that training, it was like we held each other accountable, and we both showed up to that race and absolutely crushed it.
Oh, we did. And it was such a monumental experience for us because it was the first milestone that we had really set for ourselves on that fitness journey. I know you had done 75 hard, which was a huge win in your books on your fitness journey. But getting there at the Army 10 miler and showing up and seeing 10, 20,000, however many people it was, an absolute insane amount of people. Seeing all those people there just brought validity to what we were doing. It made me realize that there's a community outside of just going drinking or just going to the bar every night, or whatever, just going out and eating at the buffet every week, whatever it is. There is a community outside of that, and there's a life outside of that. And there's people that truly want to improve themselves, and we witnessed that. I mean, there was thousands upon thousands of people there, and I genuinely believe that those people would go out of their way to help you, even in the middle of that race, which I don't think could be said for the kind of people that push you to go drinking every night or do things that just aren't beneficial to your future. Like, these people would have stopped and picked you up on the side of the road if you fell. Like, I genuinely believe that, because this group of people that are taking care of themselves and promoting their own future through fitness, like, they actually care and they want to help others get there, because once you've experienced that and once you've gotten to that next level, you know what it was like to be at the beginning and being in that hole. And now you want to pull people out of that hole. And we talked about this before. When you go on this journey, there's always the chance that you're going to lose some friends. And while that's hard, and it's something we want to try to avoid, and we want to try to bring those people with us, the reality is not everybody's going to do it. And not everybody's going to want to come with us. And I know at some point in my life, I'm going to experience that. I hope I don't have to. But the fact is, we're going to do everything we can in our power to get those people to come with us, because we want the best for every single person, regardless of how they treat you when you're trying to change or whatever else. We still want you to improve. And I think that's a huge factor, which is the fitness and self-improvement community is a group of people that genuinely care about one another. And that's where the accountability partnership comes in. We want to give you that person that cares about you. I think that'll be nothing but beneficial.
I feel like ever since being in this space and being in my own self-improvement and like our accountability partnership, it's it's like reaching that hand out and reaching those out to those other friends that aren't listening, and either they grab it or they don't. And I was reading this other article, and it was talking about there's different ways to have an accountability partnership. Now, you can have one way where you have someone who is a accountability recipient and someone who is giving you that accountability by checking in on you. And those are successful, yes, but I can say firsthand, between me and Brandon, when we are on the same goal and we are doing something that is alike, that we have that. It's that respect that we have for each other. Like to, hey, let's hold each other accountable so that way we can crush our next goal. So you can have those friends. If you don't have anybody right now that is on the same path as you, just try to talk to somebody. Talk to your spouse, talk to your best friend, talk to somebody and say, hey, this is what I want to do. Can you hold me accountable? And one of two things are going to happen. Either they're going to say no, or they're going to say yes. And I guess even a third thing could happen. They say yes and they join you, which ultimately we would be the best situation. But at least you tried to get that. And you can always reach out and DM us. I will be your accountability partner. I will hold you accountable to what you want. I am here for that. I know Brandon is too. And that's the whole point here at Elevated Freedom. We are going to build a like-minded community of people who just want to be better.
100%, man. And you put that really well. And I like that concept of the accountability recipient versus, having an accountability partner and all these different ways that can take shape. But like you said, the most effective way, we've seen it firsthand through our relationship, is when you're able to actually build an accountability partnership where it goes both ways. It's a two-way street, because it grows a connection between the two of you, where if you're just giving somebody, accountability, motivation, or you're just receiving accountability, it doesn't build that
Right.
bond that you form through these endeavors that you take on. Like, you set these huge goals, and when you have somebody that's on that same path, you build a bond through the suffering. And it doesn't have to be suffering, right? But I guess I'm referring to fitness in particular. Like, if you want to run a marathon, running a marathon takes hard work, day after day after day, on days you don't want to do it, on days you do want to do it. But there's going to be another person out there that is on the same journey. And when you suffer through that type of thing, and then you get to the end result like we did at the Army 10 miler, it builds a bond between the two of you, because you both just showed up for each other and helped each other get a better life. You know what I mean? And I just think, like you said, this community is going to be about helping other people. And you and I are more than happy to help anybody that wants to reach out. Don't ever feel embarrassed about that. Don't ever feel embarrassed about wanting to improve yourself, because maybe you got put down at one point in your life about a goal that you had, whatever it was. Maybe you wanted to be a billionaire and everybody was like, okay, buddy, like you're flipping burgers at McDonald's. All right. Like, you're not going to be a billionaire. But the fact is, if you want to be a billionaire, reach out. I mean, I'm not saying I know how to be a billionaire, but I'm saying that I'll at least I'll hold you accountable to whatever you think those steps are to get you to that place. Whatever that is that you think you need to do to take steps towards becoming a billionaire, whatever your goal is, I will make sure I check in with you every day. And I know Matt would do the same, because we just want to see you get to a place where you're actually improving and working towards your goals, because you'll be happier and you'll gain this freedom that we talk about here at Elevated Freedom, where you're able to live unrestricted and without embarrassment and without just that resent for yourself for not at least trying to pursue those goals that you have. And yeah, Elevated Freedom, man, it's going to be a community, and it's about helping those people and anybody. I can't express it enough. I don't care what your goal is. We don't care what your goal is. Please let us know. And even if you don't even want to talk about it, just say, hey man, I need you to check in with me once a week. You don't even have to give me the specifics. I'll just reach out once a week and be like, hey man, how's it going? Like, so let's do that. Let's build a community. Like, quit being embarrassed about what you want to do and that you want to improve just because the people around you don't want to, because there are people that want to help you get there.
I think you brought up a very, very good point too in what you were just talking about you used to have a goal and there was people that talked down to you about it. I'm telling you right now, that's going to happen. You could be in whatever situation you're in right now, and you could tell 10 different people that you're going to go train for a marathon, right? And you're going to probably get 10 different responses. Maybe some of them are similar, but there's going to be some out there that are going to say, you're going to go for a marathon? What are you thinking? You haven't ran in how long? Have you ever ran? But you're going to go for a marathon? Use that as fuel. Use that as fuel to push your goal more. I know I did. There's people that doubted me when I did 75 hard. But now it doesn't matter because one, I completed it, but I use that as fuel. So you're going to have those people in your life that are going to be against you. And if you have that, if you feel down about it, that's even a better time to have accountability partnership. Like, Brandon, how many times, like in this last year, had you or I'll talk about me specifically because I'm the one talking, it had to hit you up and I'm like, man, dude, like this is bothering. And we sat there, we talked about it, we worked it out, and then boom, I'm back on the right track. Because sometimes just talking about it, just talking about what somebody said to you, it will help. It gets it out of your brain, and now you're back on the right track.
And the crazy thing that I've noticed over our year of doing this is when you're having that time, I'm typically not. So I'm able to talk to you with a level head and put you in and make you realize that, okay, like let's take that, let's absorb it, but let's move on. And the same thing goes for you. Like anytime I've been struggling, like typically you're in a place where you're able to help me. And this is that bond I was talking about earlier, where naturally you start forming this bond. And for some reason, naturally, that happens where when you need help, that other person's ready to give that help and vice versa. And it's such an important thing. And you start, like I said, because when you go through hard things together, you learn about each other and you start learning just based on how they text or how they talk. You can start feeling the fact that something's off and you start picking up on that. But just having a surface level friendship based on playing video games or whatever, just doing stuff that's so surface level and so lacking in meaning, it doesn't build that bond where you start actually recognizing these signs that the person's putting out. And when those people need help, that's the most important time. So that's when you start backing off. If you're that person, like you start stepping back into your old habits, you start getting out of the groove, and that's where it's the most important time to have somebody that recognizes that, because you're not always going to want to share. So you have to have that person that knows you well enough to actually recognize that and sometimes be the one to initiate like a, hey man, what's going on? I can tell something's up.
Yeah, not even that happened. Prime example, that happened with us. That happened with me. It was probably about a month ago. I was swamped in my work life, in my personal life, in school life, with flying. I was completely booked out. And the place that hurt the most in that situation was the gym. And I also, I was overwhelmed in my own life. And Brandon was like, "Hey man, you good? Is something going on?" And that and just us talking about it and me like telling him what was happening, one, gave him a better like idea of my situation and what I was going through, and two, it also helped me because like I was talking about earlier, I talked about it. And it didn't make it any easier, like what the situation was. It made it easier in the aspect of I've let it out there. I put those words out saying this is what was bothering me, and I started to move on and I started to get back on track. And all it took was that text. Hey man, you good? Like what's going on? Talk to me.
And I just want to add on to what you're saying, which is sometimes like you might not want to talk about it, right? Like you're in that dark place where like stuff's hard, times are tough, you're getting down on yourself and you don't really want to share it because a lot of people don't want to come off as weak, and that's a natural thing.
Yeah, for sure. Now, for you, Brandon, what is the biggest thing since we started this pertaining to accountability that has helped you?
I think genuinely, I mean, like we talked about earlier, there was like that first goal was the Army 10 miler and we got it. But the biggest thing with accountability for me is I feel a sense of responsibility to the other person. And when I know somebody else out there cares enough to put their time into me, to hold me accountable, to, question me when I'm getting out of step there, like I'm just not sticking with my workouts, not sticking with my stuff. I think that it gives it more meaning. Because so many people have friends, and like I talked about earlier, I feel like so many friendships nowadays are surface level just due to social media and due to the way life is. But when you have that person that you feel like genuinely cares about you in those situations, when you're down, like we talked about, like when you're feeling down and there's that person that you can talk to and they're completely non-judgmental, and they come through as a third party. And they're not always just telling you that you're right. That for me is the biggest thing with accountability. Because anytime I'm feeling down, anytime I'm feeling, out of whack, I know that there's somebody that I can actually share with that's going to genuinely listen to me and hear me out, but also give me honest feedback. And that for me is what accountability is about. And it's given me a place where I can feel comfortable enough to share and get through those hard times. And then like a day later, I'm back on track, right? But everybody has those moments where they don't want to do stuff or things are going hard, and you need that person. You need somebody to reach out to just tell you that it's going to be okay. Tell you like, hey man, just remember what the end goal is and let's keep pushing. That for me has been accountability in a nutshell. And I'm thankful for it. And it's changed my life.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. It is talked about it a little bit previously with talking about the Army 10 miler, and you just brought that up, and we've talked about it before about the whole respect thing and showing up for that other person, and that the run that we had the night before the Army 10 mile, we were just gonna go on a nice easy, shakedown run, and we got into DC,
get loosened up, right?
And we just we're there with each other, vibing and just running, and we were playing on a nice little zone 2, and next thing you know, we're running a 9:05 pace, looking down. We've already hit 3 miles, and we're 3 miles away from the hotel we were staying at.
Yeah,
and that was just such a great experience, and it was such a win for us as individuals and us in our partnership. And I'm thinking about this now, is I feel like there's a difference between a friendship and a partnership, because I feel like a lot of times with the way that the world is right now, and sadly enough, you're going to have a lot of friends that are not going to tell you the truth. If you come and they're just going to agree with you, they're going to side with you, and that's not a friend. How can you expect someone to be there for you and give you wrong information, but then have your back at every corner? But they just lied to you straight to your face. I think that they mean well by it. I think that people mean well by it, but that me personally, like I don't want that. If I'm messing up, tell me I'm messing up. And that's where I think the partnership things come in, because to me, maybe it's just my brain or something, but the word partnership means more than friendship.
it does. And the point you just brought up is so important, because when you have that partnership, like you said, it's when you have a friendship, I talked about it earlier, it can be so surface level. And back in the day, I feel like people were more honest with each other and they were more blunt. But in a society where, feelings can get hurt so easily, and one little statement can set somebody off or put them in this place where now they could not possibly be your friend after hearing that kind of thing, or it just upsets them.
Mm-hmm.
A partnership, you understand one another, and you know that, like, if I were to tell you, hey man, you're messing up, like, you wouldn't take that offensively,
No.
because you know that I actually have your best interest in mind and you have my best interest in mind. And that's an important thing, but we've gotten away from that in society where we don't know how to talk anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I talked about the embarrassment thing earlier. Don't be embarrassed to share your goals with people that actually, with anybody, but especially with us. Like, we actually genuinely just want to help you. But get out of this mindset where everything's got to be like uncomfortable and you're worried about what somebody might think of you if your goal is completely absurd. Because it's not. It might sound absurd at first, but you take the right steps and you're going to accomplish whatever that goal is, chances are. I think that the partnership, like you said, it's another level of friendship, because there's friendship, which can be so surface level, and then there's partnership, where there's a genuine caring for one another and where they end up. And the other thing with partnership that I just thought of is that you're actually investing time into that person for more than just like playing a game or going out to eat or going drinking. Like, you're investing real time into the fact that they're having a hard time and you want to be there for them. And that's that's a different level, which I just thought of and I just wanted to share.
Yeah, that's definitely I like that. I like that a lot. It's so great just looking back, just for our story here. Like, so we've known each other for six-ish years, I think, and in the last year, I have found out more about you as a person just through this accountability. And I love it. I love being there for you when you need it. I love being that outlet for you, and I love being there to hold you accountable for when things do get tough, or when we're just being there to push each other through our each goals. And then at the times like the Army 10 Mile or the night before, or, now when we get together and we can sit down and we can talk about podcasts or books or productive things, it's just so much better than I feel like before when we were just crushing 12 packs and complaining about our lives.
For sure. And something I wanted to bring up too before we end this podcast today is kind of just a challenge for everybody that's listening this week, which is I want you to envision the person that you want to be, because everybody has a vision in their mind of like how they see their life going or where they would be if everything went right. Let's envision where we want to be, whatever your end goal is, and let's set one standard for ourselves this week and become accountable to ourselves. And please reach out and tell us if you're comfortable with it. Tell us what that standard is that you're going to set for yourself this week. And then show up for yourself every day. Hold yourself accountable, or reach out to us. Please do. And we'll help hold you accountable. And then start working towards that goal. And I just want to give one recommendation. It's something that's helped me immensely, which is start your day winning something. Whether it's setting your alarm and getting up on time, whether it's reading 10 pages of a book, whether it's you just want to get up and have coffee with your wife and maybe that's your family time. Do something and set a standard for yourself that's going to help you get to where you want to go, and do it every day. But do it first thing in the morning. Win that first thing every single morning, and it's going to set the standard for your whole day. But anyway, like I said, I just want everybody, and Matt, you can give your 2 cents on this too, but I really think everybody needs to envision where they want to be in life, because if you can't envision that, you don't know where your path is. So let's envision where we're going. Let's set a standard for ourselves this week, and let's work towards that vision.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself again. You're just hitting me with the good things. And today is January 8th. We are 8 days into the new year. Please tell me that you are doing the things that you said you were going to do on December 31st. And if you're not, reach out so we can help you hit those goals.
It's never too late.
I think that's going to be a wrap for today. I appreciate you tuning back in and listening to Elevated Freedom Podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple. You can also find us on Buzzsprout. Reach out so we can help you, and we'll catch you next time.